And when you're looking at comparable listings, you should also be looking at what is the volume of listings that are available, and are these under contract, or are they unconditional sales? Sometimes that can be difficult to do if you don't have the connections in the industry, because a lot of sales for land are done, they're not done via the traditional putOnRealEstate.com, call the agent and sell direct to the buyer. There's a lot of intermediaries, as we call them, or referral partners. So think builders, marketing groups, buyers agents, building brokers, various people like this. They have an interest in land, but they're not going to be the person that's signing on that contract. So the next thing you need to do as well is you need to look at and it sounds counterintuitive, but you can actually look at the sales of development sites in the area. Because what you can do is you can establish a baseline for potentially what the future stock is going to look like in that area, and what price those blocks might need to be for that developer to be profitable. A good example is a sale recently, I believe it was Ausbuild in James Flat, which is in southeast Queensland and Logan. And for the price that they were paying, can't remember off the top of my head. Do you remember that price?
Yeah, it was a big one.
About 280 a lot, something like that.
Yeah.
This is raw land.
Raw land. Yeah. So if you look at that sale, that says to you or says to me, they need to be mid fives, maybe 600,000 to be making a profit on that particular project, which is 10, 15% at least above what the current values are. So when you start to look at all these things, and the last thing you should look at as well is existing homes, especially as you're getting into more infill areas closer to the city. So infill are areas where you're not seeing these larger parcels of land. Traditionally, you're seeing maybe 1 to 2 subdivisions or 1 to 5. And the reason you're looking at this is because you need to consider what is the buyer's next best alternative. So when you're valuing something, what you're doing is you're getting the head of the buyer or potential different buyers that you might have for the product that you're going to put to the market at the end, and understanding how they might see value in that product. So if you're looking at existing home sales, then you can start to work backwards. So let's say you're looking at an area where there's no new land sales, but there's a new house sale, and that house sold for, say that house sold for 1.5 million. And you can make some estimates as to what the cost of that house might be. Let's say the house cost $700,000 to build. Then you can see that the land price, the residual land value is about 800,000. Now, normally there would be some uplift in the building process, especially as you're closer to the city. So that might then start to set a ceiling price for your evaluation of where the land is currently sitting in the market. So across all those different techniques, now you've got a way where you can come up with a much more accurate estimate of whatever you're putting to the market in your particular feasibility. And we've seen some areas in southeast Queensland have moved as much as 30 or 35% in the past 12 months. So Caboolture is a good example. 400 square metre block of land there. It's now going to be in the low fives. 12 months ago, that was probably 390, 410, somewhere around there.
How are these prices increasing so quickly? I guess this is the frustration that a lot of people have, right? How can it be 390 to 550 in 12 months time? Is it greedy developers? Well, what are your thoughts? You've been in this land game for over 10 years now, and you specifically only do land and now getting into townhouses. So someone like you knows this market really well, specifically in the southeast Queensland corridor. What is driving these prices?
So the driver is effectively it's underlying demand from owner-occupiers and demand from investors. You can see if you look at migration data, and I use this as a good leading indicator. So the migration data of people coming to Queensland, you see a lot of interstate migration net to Queensland. So while that continues, from the demand side of things, you have this huge amount of people that are looking for a product. And the majority of that interest is in sub 1.5 or even sub 1 million price bracket. So when I say 30% or 35%, yes, you may have seen that for a 400 block in Caboolture, or say even a smaller block might have seen higher growth. But then if you come somewhere closer to the city, it's probably only 10, maybe 15% growth in that same period. So the growth is driven by the overall price point. So the land plus whatever you're putting on the land, whether you're putting townhouses on there, whether you're putting a house. So you need to think of, if it's the land plus whatever I'm putting on there, let's say I'm putting a single story house, if that's priced at 800, doesn't matter if the block's a 500 square meter block or if it's a 300 square meter block, I can still get a 4-bed, 2-bath low set on there. So therefore, that's going to drive the values of those smaller blocks and cheaper price points a lot quicker than the larger blocks.